right. So we have added and subtracted exponents, right? We've done the multiplication rule, or the exponent rule. We've done the power to a power rule. We've divided these guys, okay? I think today is the hardest rule, okay? And that's what happens when we have negative exponents. We don't want negative exponents. We need a rule for what happens when there's a negative exponent, okay? What that rule is if I have a to the negative m, okay, if we make it into a fraction, it becomes 1 over a to the positive m. Okay, that also works backwards. If they give it to us as in the bottom of a fraction, so if they give me 1 over a to the negative m, okay, then it becomes normal a to the m. Okay, so it works both ways. So in number 1, where I have x to the negative 5th, okay, all we have to do is go 1 over, and then my exponent becomes positive, so it's going to be x to the 5th. Okay, so if I'm looking at number 2, does my 3 have an exponent on it? No. Okay, so that's not going to move to the bottom of my fraction. So I leave my 3 where it's at, and that's going to be my placeholder in the top. And then since it's m to the negative 2, where does that have to go? To the bottom. So we're going to move that m, and then it becomes positive. So far, so good? Okay. All right, so negative 7. Okay, I know that the number is negative, but does it have a negative exponent? No. So that can stay in the top. So we've got negative 7 on the top. I've got a to the negative 4, so where does that have to go? To the bottom, and it becomes positive. And then b to the 3rd, is that negative? No, so that's going to stay on top with my negative 7. So we're going to leave it just like this, negative 7, b to the 3rd, over a to the 4th. Got a lot going on, right? You understand why I think this is the hard one? A little bit complicated. Okay, so now when we get to number 4, they're going to throw that first rule that we learned at you. What do I do with my coefficients? Multiply my coefficients, I get negative 18. Add my exponents, I get, right, so I'm just going to write x. So negative 18, x. Okay, are there any negative exponents? So I can leave it just like that. This is my answer. The only time I have to mess with moving it to the top and the bottom is if any of my exponents are negative. Yep, but that's right. But when I combine these, because if I take 8 plus negative 7, it gives me x to the 1st. Okay, so I always use those rules first because you might get a positive out of it. Right? Like this one, when I distribute, I get 3 to the negative 2, x to the negative 6. Now we got to do some moving. So the 3 to the negative 2 is 1 over, what's 3 squared? Yeah, 9. And then that x to the negative 6 goes top or bottom? X to the 6, yes. Because it's not negative 9, it's 1 over 9. Hey, even your calculator will tell you that it's 1 over 9. Because of this rule right here. It doesn't give you negative 9, it gives you 1/9. Because it becomes a fraction. Well, we didn't add, no, not when you add, well, what do you mean when you add a negative and a negative? We didn't add anything. It becomes positive, yeah. because, I don't know, because we're not taking -3 times, we're not taking 3 times 3. We're taking 1/3 times 1/3. Okay, you have to follow this rule. You have to follow. We have a negative exponent. Okay, we have 3 to the -2nd. Okay, so your rule is 1/3 to the 2nd. Okay, and then what is 3 to the 2nd? Yeah, so we saw, okay, so yeah, we skipped kind of a step here. So if I were to rewrite this, it would be 1/3 to the 2nd x to the 6th, right? Okay, well, what do we get when we take 3 to the 2nd? 9. So that's where this 1/9 x to the 6th came from. Does that make better sense? Good call. All right, so over here, when I distribute, I get 5 to the -2, y to the -4. So when I make this into a fraction, I get 5 squared y to the 4th. And now I can tell what that 5 squared is, right? So now I can go 1/25 y to the 4th. Okay, very good questions. All right. Whew. More distributing. I get -8 to the -2, x to the -10, y to the +8. Yep. Okay. What? All right. So any positive exponents? Yeah, my what? My y. So that can stay on top. Y to the 8th can stay on top because that doesn't move. It's got a negative. Okay, 8 to the -2 goes to the bottom, so that becomes 64, yep. X to the, okay, on the bottom. Well, you gotta think about that. -8 squared is what? Positive 64. Okay? That's why we made it a positive. Oh, well, yeah. Are you sure? Okay. Alright, so now, these guys, 8, is there anything to distribute? No. So what are we going to do to the exponents? Add them. So a to the 2nd, b to the 5th, c to the -5th. So what gets to stay on top? A squared, b to the 5th gets to stay on the top. And where are we going to put the negative guy? On the bottom. Change that to make it positive. At least somebody laughed at me. All right. All right. So we've got some distributing to do first. Number 9, right? X to the -4th, y to the -6 times x to the -15th, y to the -12th. Now what do I do to my exponents? Now I add them. So x to the -19th, y to the -18th. Are they both negative? Yep. So move them down. 1/x to the 19th, y to the 18th. Good stuff, right? Now we got an addition side, man. All right, so let's do the left side first. I get 4 4 to the negative 2, x to the negative 6, y to the negative 12, plus 2 to the negative 3rd, x to the negative 6, y to the negative 12. So I have 1 over 16 x to the 6, y to the 12, plus 1 over right here. Yep, 1 over 8 is 2 to the 3rd is 8, x to the 6, y to the 12. Do I have like terms? Yes. I do, because it's the x to the 6, y to the 12, right? Because it's 2 to the 3rd power, 1 over 2 to the 3rd power. Okay? Yeah, so I have to go 1/16 plus 1/8. What's my common denominator? 16, so how do I get 8/16? Multiply by 2, so I have 1/16 plus 2/16 gives me, alright, so I have 3/16 x to the 6, 5 to the 12. Fractions are so fun. They make our lives very interesting. Right? Ooh, all the time. Critical thinking skills. Alright, so now I have h to the 4th divided by h to the 6th. So subtract them. I get h to the negative 2, which is 1 over h squared. Okay, number 12, top, negative 2 minus the bottom. So negative 2 minus 7 is k to the negative 9. So I have k to the 9. All right, 13. What do I do with my coefficients? Divide them. Not if I pay attention. What do I get? I heard it. 2. And then we've got 4 minus negative 2. W to the 6. Do I have any negative exponents? Nope, so I can leave it.
Oh, yeah, now I know.
Does that make sense how we went top minus bottom? Okay. So 14, 24, negative 24 divided by 3, negative 8, top 5 minus negative 2. X to the 7th. Everything's got a positive exponent. Alright, in 15, what happens with my d's? My d's cancel. Okay, 1 minus 5. So c to the negative 4th is 1 over c to the 4th. A little shortcut on this. Where is c bigger? On the bottom. And how much bigger is it on the bottom? 4 bigger on the bottom. If you don't like that shortcut, you don't have to use it. Okay? But, okay, so if I'm going here, 4 minus 2 gives me x to the 2nd. Negative 3 minus 2 gives me y to the negative 5th. So, which one's positive? X to the 2nd, so that stays where? chomping at the bit to get to your assignment. You'll have plenty of time to do your assignment. Okay? 17, 32 divided by 8. 4. What do we get for the 8th? 8 to the 7th. E to the negative 9. So now what gets to stay on top? 4, 8 to the 7th. We're sick of these negativity. We're sending them to the bottom to become positive. It's like sending you to the office. Change your attitude. Alright, so 36 divided by 12? 3. X to the negative 4th. Y. So, who gets to stay up? 3y. Who's going to bed? X to the 4th.
I thought it was going to the principal's office.
Well, you're going to the principal's office, but we're just sending him to bed to change his attitude. 15/18. 5, 6. Yep, divide both by 3. So 5 over 6. What happens with my 8? Cancel. V squared. C to the negative 1, so he goes to the bottom. Mean 5 minus negative 3. No. 5 minus negative 2. What happens when you subtract the negative? Yeah. Does that make sense? Okay. Alright, so we've got negative 4 over 8. Negative 1 half. P to the negative 1, right? So let's automatically put him where? On the bottom. We have Q to the third, positive or negative? Positive, so let's put him on top. R to the negative 7, so let's put him on the bottom. Alright, what's negative 1 or negative 9 over 54 reduced to? Negative 1, 6. R is going to be to the bottom by how much? Okay, so R to the third on the bottom. What's S going to be? Positive 4, so he gets to go on top. R to the, or is that a T? T to the 4th on the bottom.